Our plans for today is all around how we can strategize for the 2023 administration of the Pennsylvania Youth Survey. I'm excited to welcome any PAYS coordinators who are joining us for the first time. My name is Lee Winterhalter. I work for the SCA in Fayette County, but I am also a PAYS consultant, and I'm excited to be here to be a part of this conversation today. Mary is going to do a big portion of the chatting. She's from Bach Harrison, and she will introduce herself as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through questions that are most likely to be asked around the administration of PAYS and just PAYS in general. So she will be going over that section in a bit. And Sophia, if you could advance me to the next slide, please. You can go ahead and advance again. With us today is again Sophia, and we do not have Elise or Jeff with us today. They are doing some other things, some exciting things, I'm sure. But we're here, and we are here to assist in any way. We want to ask, especially since there are so many new folks on with us today. We want you to go ahead and like us on social media. So like EPIS on social media. And Sophia is going to go ahead and throw in the handles for Twitter and for Facebook. So if you aren't liking us, then go ahead and like us. The reason for that is we already have put a bunch of resources on there and information that's important to anyone who is coordinating PAYS, administering the PAYS, anyone who is encouraging school districts to participate in the PAYS. All of that information is going to be found in on EPIS's Facebook and EPIS Penn State's EPIS Twitter. So please, please, please go on there and like it so you get the most up-to-date information on what's going on. With that being said, we have a ton of new information that will be relevant to the people in your community, parents, schools, community organizations. We are going to be sharing information on the Facebook and Twitter that will need to be seen by them. So we encourage you to like the page so you will be able to share the information that we are posting on there pretty regularly, about once a week. We're hoping that based on the conversation that happens today with Mary and her reviewing what's going on, what questions she's getting asked, we're hoping that we can create some new content for all of you as well that could be relevant to the people in your communities. So what we will do is Mary will go over her content and explain the answers to the questions that she gets most frequently. And what Sophia and I will be doing is we are going to be monitoring the chat and the questions. So if you have something that comes up, go ahead and insert that there in the way that Sophia explained at the beginning with the word question capitalized if you're doing that in the chat. We will be monitoring that. We will answer all of those questions after Mary goes through her section, just in case your question gets answered by Mary in the later in the section. So we want to encourage you to communicate in that way if you have a question or comment or thoughts. And also for those of you who are just joining us, we are asking that you introduce yourself in the chat. So if you could go ahead and give us your name, your organization, where you're coming from, that would be really fantastic. So you can go ahead and advance for us, Sophia. Just wanted to also thank all of those who are registered for the PAYS, and the deadline is approaching-ish. I'm sure Mary's going to talk about that a little bit in her conversation about how we are, we do have a deadline to register for the PAYS, but it's not a hard and fast deadline because we don't want to discourage anyone from registering. So thank you, though, for those of you who have registered, and you can find more information on of who's registered on the PAYS website by clicking around in there and going to that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Mary to begin her section. And thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Lee. Mary Johnstun. I'm the project manager for the Pennsylvania Youth Survey. There's a lot of familiar names in the chat. Thank you for being here with us. Excuse me, and I have a cold. I will try not to cough your ear off. But I am here to talk about just some frequently asked questions that we're getting. PAYS is a big project. We've got 450, over 450 LEAs, so districts and then charter schools and private schools signed on for the survey. That means we have a survey coordinator for each one. Oftentimes we're fielding questions from school level contacts or for teachers or for parents. So in general, we're just juggling a lot of questions. But the thing is, a lot of the questions are honestly the same ones that everyone has. And honestly, keeping a really good track of these frequently asked questions helps us to craft better responses, helps us to understand what we need to make more clear in our materials and things like that. So today I want to go through some of the frequently asked questions. But to address recruitment so far, we do have, I think we are up to 456 districts and LEAs that have signed on. We will be sending out, I believe, one more kind of just gentle nudge to superintendents like, hey, it's not too late to sign up for PAYS. If you want to, here's an agreement form link. We still do have kind of our sort of generic, I call it the generic or kind of the general sign up link, which let me actually just copy that link and I'll put it in the chat. Should anyone want to have an LEA or district sign on at this point, they can just fill out that form. But right now we're just working with the districts that have already signed on, some that have signed on early, some that are brand new, and we're just kind of juggling all of that. As you might know, our administration opened up September 18th. So the survey has been live for a couple of weeks now, and participation information is coming in. So let me pull up my list of frequently asked questions. Oftentimes, most of the frequently asked questions we get are just, where's my stuff? So where are my links? How can I find my parental consent letters? How can, when am I going to get my paper surveys? All of those things are, for the most part, everyone who has signed on already should have been sent just about everything. So if you signed on for an online survey, you would have gotten your web links through an email that comes from me. Or if you were doing the survey in paper, we probably have already shipped your materials. I just discovered a district that signed on last week. We hadn't yet shipped theirs, but theirs should be shipped pretty soon. But in general, if you haven't, if you feel like you're missing something, it's probably in your inbox. You just need to search for it either by searching for my email address, which is mary@bach-harrison.com. Sorry, I'm typing it into the chat. Or just search for like PAYS. Oftentimes it just emails can get rerouted into another inbox. We definitely do not mind fielding questions and asking us to kind of resend those things. That's completely fine. You might know that you can reach out to me. You can also reach out to our PAYS support team. Let me put that email in the chat as well. PAYS support. Okay. We also have the support email. So because we have up to date, we have received over 6,000 emails about PAYS from survey coordinators like you, from administrators, from teachers. Using our PAYS support account allows us to have multiple team members answering questions simultaneously. So that is one of the best ways to get a hold of us. So these frequently asked questions I'm referring to today are often ones that have come up in that PAYS support email account. Another way that you can get the materials you need is actually to go to your PAYS portal, your PAYS planning portal. If you are your district or charter school or districts or private schools designated survey coordinator, you have probably been given access to your planning portal. Your planning portal allows you to do things like set your survey window. It allows you to request materials. It allows you to check on your participation. It gives you access to all of the support documents you need. So let's see, Sophia, would you be able to give me sharing access so I could just share a quick look at the planning portal for just a second?
Yep, let me do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
See
thank
if
you.
it lets you. Yep.
Yeah. So the planning portal looks like this. In all of the emails that we send out, so an email with your web links, your planning emails that come from us, we're going to honestly keep sending you a link to your planning portal every chance that we can get, because this is kind of your one place where you can store all of your materials. You can go ahead and change things. So oftentimes we get questions about, hey, I want to change my survey window. Can you help me with that? And certainly we can. You can also go into your planning portal and just make the change on your own. Or we get questions about, hey, can I get my parental consent letters? Well, yes, you can, and we will send those to you, but those are also on your planning portal. So we're definitely not discouraging you from reaching out to us with questions about materials you need or changes you need to make. But also we want people to know that the planning portal is there to honestly give you everything without having to wait for a response from the PACE support team. So this is an example of a planning portal. I'm using one live example from a school district. And instructions and survey coordinator contact information. This is where it's going to list your basic contact information. A frequently asked question we're getting right now is just, hey, I'm not the right person to be organizing this. Can we change to another survey coordinator? Absolutely. You can email us and we can change it on our end, or you can go into your planning portal and just make those changes, hit save, and you'll be fine. The next tab is your survey plan. So this is where you're telling us if you want to do the survey in paper. Let's say you decide you want to switch to online. You can just go here and switch to online surveying, and the change will be made. I'll go ahead and switch back to paper just so I don't mess these people up. This is where you can also tell us when your survey window is. So when your start date is, when your end date is. This allows us to provide you better support. So for example, in our system, we have, some automated messaging that goes out when we know that you're like a week away from your survey window or your survey date. We'll be able to kind of reach out to you and just say, hey, do you have everything you need? How are things going? Etc. Likewise, when your survey window ends, knowing that allows us to follow up and say, hey, it looks like your survey window is over. Are you guys done? Do you need more time? And things like that. If you want to change your parental consent, you can. If you have additional notes, you can put those here. One of the coolest features, and I think that is most helpful, especially now when we're in the thick of it, where we need like all the stuff right away, are our support documents tab. So here you can download our frequently asked questions sheet. You can download a full training packet that will guide you through all of the steps. You can download our sample teacher letters or any of those introductory materials. You can download our our passive consent forms in English and in Spanish and consent tracking materials. You can download proctor instructions, and these will all be customized based off what your survey method is. So this district survey method was paper. So they're receiving materials that apply to a paper administration. If you are doing the survey online or in hybrid, you would see the materials switch that. And if you're in one of our districts that's participating in the 4th grade pilot, you would also see materials here for 4th grade. So all of these materials can be accessed here at any time. Again, you can continue to reach out to PACE support at bach-harrison.com, and we can send those to you. But really check in on that planning portal just to see what you might need. When your survey, for those that are doing the survey online, we're starting to get questions about, hey, how is my participation looking online? Can you check for me? You can also check in your planning portal. So in your planning portal, if you go to online grade level participation portal, you can click here to just see how participation is going for your specific district. So let's see, it's going to be a little slow. So this is where you can go to see who we have enrolled versus what participation looks like. And this is also where you could, when a school was completed, you could check a box letting us know that the survey was complete so that we could close those links. So for example, here we're looking at, we know number enrolled, we can see number participating. Let's say whenever this high school was completed, I could go ahead and check this box just to let us know that that survey is done and we can close those links. Because honestly, that's a frequently asked question we get too, in terms of, hey, we're done with the survey, we can close, can you close our links? And the answer is yes, absolutely. You can email us and we can close them. You can also go in and just check that box, and that's just sort of allows us to automatically know that those are ready to close. Another common question that we are getting is about the 4th grade survey. So some people are, if there's a lot of questions about like, hey, are we doing the 4th grade pilot? Or we thought we were doing the pilot, but we don't have links. Or we do have links for the 4th grade pilot, but we decided not to do that. So just to give you a little bit of history, the 4th grade pilot, the option to opt in for the 4th grade pilot, which was just a very small window of time, that window has closed at this point, was given to your superintendents at sign up time. So when they signed up for the agreement form to participate, they either opted into the 4th grade pilot or opted out. And then once we'd reached kind of our quota, which was, I think, a maximum of 15,000 students, we closed that. Since then, some districts have decided, you know what, we can't do the 4th grade pilot online, so we're going to have to opt out. Or you've had just second thoughts. Maybe you've looked at the questionnaire and you've thought, you know what, we're just not going to participate this year, and you've changed it. A lot of things have already happened in the system where we might have already had web links created. So we might have sent those. So I wanted to just really quickly show you kind of what a majority of districts have signed on for our online survey. So if you are A, looking for your web link, or B, just have questions about who is taking the survey or not, I just wanted to show you a copy of the email that you would get. So the email, if you're having a hard time finding it in your inbox, just search for these words: 2023 PAYS Online Survey Web Links for. And it would come from my email address, mary@bach-harrison.com. And in it, you're going to get some information. You are going to get a link to the YouTube video that will be played for students before the survey. That's another frequently asked question we get, is like, hey, how can we get access to that video link? That link is here. It's also embedded here. So just making sure that you have that link and you're sharing it is great. We're going to give you a reminder about how to access your portal. We're going to give you a demo link. So this is a link to just share with your IT staff to make sure that they're testing it in each of your schools on web-ready devices, to make sure it's going to load, to make sure that everything looks right. And then we, of course, we're going to mention the portal again. And then down here is where you're going to find your URLs. So you can see here for this particular school district, we've got 3 links that are established for this district that would cover grades 6, 8, 10, and 12. So any links that you see below this are only for 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. If you initially signed up for the 4th grade pilot, you're going to see your link for 4th graders there. It's really important that only 4th graders get what we call a 4th grade survey pilot link. They should absolutely not receive any of these links that are attributed to 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. Likewise, let's say that for this elementary center, we actually have 6th graders at that school. You would not want to give 6th graders the 4th grade link. That's kind of one of the more, I think, like kind of complex or tricky components of this year's PAYS, but it's just really important that we give the grade specific survey to each student and just communicate that with your teachers. So this is kind of what that looks like and kind of an overview of that. Another question we have been getting is about the language options for this year's survey. So you might, if you are one of our historical PAYS survey coordinators, and kudos to you all who have been with me for a number of years, you might recall that in the past, we would send out what we called an English form, and then we would send out like a just we called it a bilingual form that was only available at the district level. And so teachers would have to identify who needed the survey in Spanish and give students that separate link. That is no longer the case. So we've switched to kind of every form is a bilingual form. So I'm looking at our demo. But all of your links are set up this way, where any student, if they want to take it in Spanish, just needs to go over here to the top right to this language toolbar and just select Spanish. It will change the language of their survey. They can do this at any time. You probably also note that my Google automatically pulled up this Google Translate. This is actually something that one of our districts tested recently and said works pretty well. If you need the survey in another language, you can rely on tools like Google Translate or other translation tools you might have already installed. As long as your students know how to use those, you can use those tools to translate each screen into the language in which students would want to take the survey, and they can follow along that way. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you. Let me stop sharing and kind of keep going through my list. Let's see. We get requests for survey coordinator changes or window changes. Again, you can email us with those, or you can change those in the portal. If you have requested paper surveys, I believe all paper survey materials are out. I know those did take a little bit of time to get those out. So I believe everybody except that one district that just signed on recently has all of their materials. We get a lot of requests to see a copy of the survey. So when superintendents were signed on, we initially sent them a copy of the survey. And then from that point on, we have a special request form in which individuals can request a copy of the survey. Someone is looking over that request form on a regular basis, and they send those out particularly during business days and business hours. But there can often be a delay in just kind of getting that met. So you can reach out to us and ask for a copy of the survey. We're happy to share it by email. You can also continue to use that link that's in our parental consent forms to request a copy. And likewise, honestly, if we give you a copy of the survey because you've requested it, you're one of our survey coordinators, you feel free to go ahead and just share that as you see fit with administrators or with parents. You know, we don't need you to go through all of the hoops. Once you have the copy, just share it and use it as a resource as you see fit. Let's see. If you would like to opt out of the 4th grade pilot, just let us know and we can change that in your record. That's completely fine. We've had requests to shift from, hey, we signed up for hybrid, but we want to do all online, or we signed up for paper and we want to do online. You can change that in your portal. We can also change that. There have been some questions about if students can opt out themselves. And absolutely, that is their right as a human subject participant in this process, is that this is voluntary on all levels. It's voluntary for your district. Parents have the option to opt their children out. And then students also have the right to opt out of the survey entirely or to skip any question they don't want to answer. It was actually interesting. I got a really cool phone call the other day from someone who was just really so excited about the Proctor video that we had this year. They just said that, you know what, this is really great. It provides just so much energy to the survey. It standardizes the administration. We just love it. The one downfall, they said, is that because it's so enthusiastic, it emphasizes student opt out more than our script had in the past, when teachers just read it aloud in the kind of the Peanuts, the wah 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 voice. So having it come to life in a video has definitely, I think, emphasized to students that, hey, this is an optional survey. If you don't want to take it, you can opt out, or you can skip any question that you want to answer. Yes, They can. And honestly, students have always had that right. And so now if you do experience more students opting out, that's fine. That is their right as a participant. It just means that we need to do a better job of making sure that we explain the why to them, making sure that schools and districts emphasize why the data are so important. And those are things that we need to work on. So these data will help us to understand that. Let's see. I think there's also a question about how a hybrid administration works. So if a district wants some schools to take the survey online or some schools to take the survey in paper, how does that work? Can each school within a district pick their own survey method? Absolutely. So some districts could pick paper, some could pick online. The thing is they would need to each pick one. So if a school is doing the survey online, everybody needs to do it online. You can't have some classes taking it online and some in paper. We just need one method per school. So your district, each school can choose their own option, but each school does need to choose one option. I know when we started communicating with survey coordinators, we were running into problems with the portal. Initially, we were going with a new portal through application called SoftR, and that was honestly getting caught up in people's spam. It was causing emails not to arrive, and so we switched to our mini extensions portal, which is the portal system we've been using for the past 3 administrations. So just continue to use mini extensions. It's our understanding that once we switch to that, people have been getting access to that quite well. All important emails are coming from Mary at Bach-Harrison.com. That's another hiccup that we experienced at the beginning, is that for some reason emails coming from PAYS support at Bach-Harrison.com were kind of going into the ether, but people were still receiving my emails. So what we did with that is we worked through when we understood that was a problem. We worked with people to make sure that PAYS support Bach-Harrison was a saved contact. We asked you to go ahead and send us an email, which can often be a little bit of a heads up to your email account that this is a safe account. And I think we've worked through most of those issues. What we're also doing is we're checking our open and close rates. So, or our open and close flags, so that we can make sure anytime an email is coming out from my email account or from PAYS support, we can check and see, we can follow up with the ones where we know it wasn't opened, so that we can say, hey, we sent out this email a while ago. Did you get that? And more often than not, it's people that say, oh yeah, I got it. I just didn't have a chance to look at it. But we can kind of follow up on that. So we are working to kind of mitigate some of those risks. But in general, I think these emails are not likely to be flagged as spam, but they could potentially go to, like, I use Google, they could go to my updates folder or my non-primary folder, my social folder. So just check your other folders, make sure you drag them over to main. And in general, I think communications are working pretty well. So that kind of works through most of our frequently asked questions. Let me take a look at the chat and see if there's anything else here.
So Mary, we did have a request to sort of review how to access the portal.
Okay. Yes. Ramona, are you the district's one named survey coordinator? If you are, then that would be something that would be emailed to you. Usually that's just set up with the one main person for the district. So Ramona, if you could put, if you don't mind putting your email in the chat, I can follow up with that and see if we can get you access to that. But that is something that if you're not the main survey coordinator for the district, you would need to share with that individual. Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions that popped in, Lee?
The main other question that we saw was around the in the portal, this specific school district is seeing that they're listed with fourth grade data, but they don't plan to do the fourth grade. So
Okay.
sort of reviewed that, but if you want to just drive that message home a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, there is nothing about the survey that can't be changed. And hopefully that came through in my frequently asked questions is, can we change from paper to online? Can we change from online to paper? Can we change our survey window? Can we opt in or out of the fourth grade survey? Absolutely. Like at any point you can change these things. So go ahead and just reach out to PACE support at bach-harrison.com and just say, hey, we're signed up for fourth grade. Can you just switch us to not? Likewise, I could go in quickly if you put, if you want to reach out to me, I actually just reach out to either PACE support at Bach-Harrison or my email address, which I put in the chat, and we can go ahead and address that. But yeah, anything that was initially planned by your superintendent can be absolutely changed by you as our survey coordinator.
And then we had a follow-up question from Grant. Just he was asking for or they were asking for access to the portal as well. So
yeah, that is something. I'm just gonna copy your email and save it for later. It's the way that we have it set up is that we ask the superintendent or for a charter school, we ask them to set just your administrator to set kind of one contact for your LEA. And so that is usually the person that we're emailing. And so often that's another question is oftentimes we'll get a school level contact that reaches out to us and just says, hey, I don't have my link yet. Like, can you send that to me? And usually what we try to do as a best practice is to get you what you need, but also kind of hook you back up with your district level coordinator so that you can kind of make sure that whatever you're doing is in line with kind of what they're planning. But yeah, Grant, I will take a look at that and see who is the main contact, and I will let you know kind of who that main contact might be.
and then Mary, if you see there,
Yes.
Mona as well.
Yeah, a question from Chad. Which survey link should be used for sixth grade students? Or sixth grade is part of the middle school, and I believe we typically use the middle school link in the past. Yeah, no, let me go back to the email. I'm just gonna share like really fast again. So in the email that you get from us, you're gonna use the email, whatever link is underneath this PAYS 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th grade kind of subheading. And then honestly, whatever the school is. So if you've got sixth graders that attend the elementary center, you're going to send it to those. Let's say your middle school has both sixth and eighth graders, they would use the same link. So yeah, you're just kind of matching up, making sure that it's under here. What you don't want would be your sixth graders to take this fourth grade's survey pilot link. And honestly, most districts aren't even signed on for the pilot. So if you're not signed on for the pilot, you will not see anything here. You will only see links for grades 6, 8, 10, and 12, which should be another reminder that, hey, we're not doing the survey in the fourth grade. So let's only share these links with teachers for grades 6, 8, 10, and 12. Let me see, check back on the chat. Hopefully that was helpful, Chad.
I think you're all caught up on the questions, Mary.
Okay, great.
I actually had a question that I was hoping you could elaborate on. Can you talk a little bit about preliminary results and results expectations for the full report results?
Absolutely, thank you. And I meant to talk about that. For those doing the survey online, this is not an option for paper surveying, but if you're doing the survey online, we will be sending out, we call it an early release report, which will just kind of have a lot of really neat snapshot kind of highlights that will cover topics like mental health, substance use, school climate, social determinants of health, kind of the top things that bullying, the top things that are really top of mind in terms of the data that you need to do district, school, community level planning. Those will be sent out for a majority of schools. So right now, November 17th is kind of I call it our soft close for the survey. So on November 17th is really what we're hoping that most schools and districts can get the survey done ahead of time. Those meeting that soft close will get their early release report, which will be an online report. They'll get that December 1. If you happen to go past the soft close, which is fine, we know that some schools can't survey, then they need to survey in, before or after Thanksgiving or in December. That is completely fine. We allow as much flexibility as we can so that you can give the survey before the end of the calendar year. That is like the absolute 100% hard stop. Like no surveys in January, no surveys in January, no surveys in February. But if you do it past November 17th, you would just need to know that you're not going to get your early release report on December 1, like everybody that meets the soft close. You would get it. I think we usually aim for like the second week of January or something like that. And then full reports, which is a full profile report, as well as a all questions by grade report. Those are released for everybody, including those doing paper surveys. Those are released by April 30th of 2024. Did that answer your question, Lee?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. Please do feel free to reach out to the emails that I supplied before, particularly paid support at bach-harrison.com. You're going to get a faster and probably better response than if you email me directly. But feel free to reach out to either paid support at bach-harrison.com or myself at Mary at bach-harrison.com if you have any questions. Thank you for your time today. I'll hand it back over to Lee and Sophia.
Yes, thank you, Mary. That was tons of really great information, and I'm so happy that you were available to share that with everyone today. So, switching gears just a bit, I wanted to remind everyone that we have resources at EPIS to share with schools, parents, and community organizations that really discuss the pays. And those resources are available to you, some on EPIS's website, but a significant number is going to be found on the Padlet, which I'll go ahead and share. I put that link in the chat right now. So on that Padlet, you can gain access to the videos, and you can gain access to the some tools. We realize that parents might be asking some questions specifically to school districts. They might want more information about the pays. We always encourage them to reach out to that pays support email, but also if you and that could be to request access to the questions that are asked on the pays, to get clarifications on anything that is available always. Also know that in that Padlet and on the pays, or I'm sorry, on the EPIS website, you can have access to some documents that engage parents and community members in pays. So we've sort of compiled some frequently asked questions that we get related to why is the survey asked, or why is the survey administered? What does the survey ask? Who sees the information? Are the questions anonymous? Are the surveys anonymous? And we sort of address that in a one-pager. So that is something that we want to ensure that everyone has access to. So please share that on your school websites, on your organization websites, share that on social media. Again, just a reminder, if you like Penn State's EPIS Facebook and Twitter, or you go on there and you'll see resources that we are sharing that we created with the intention for you as the school and you as community organization to share on your individual pages. We encourage you to do that so that parents get a full scope of what's going on, and schools can have access to that as well. And so as same as community organizations. So our goal was to get that information out there so that you all had access to it, and that you all could share that information and hopefully answer some questions as well. And Sophia, if you want to advance, that's going to take us to the end. We will, we're getting out a little early, but again, if anyone has any questions, now's the time. I'll leave a break in me talking so you can formulate a question if you have any more. But before I do, I just want to encourage you again to check out EPIS's website. You can also go to pays.pa.gov for more information about the Pennsylvania Youth Survey. You will have a link to a survey for today's webinar that's going to show up in the chat here shortly, and also that will be pushed. Will you include that in the chat, Sophia? Sorry. And that will be, I mean, I know that will be sent out via email as well. So, but now is the time. Yep, thank you, Sophia. And now is the time for any last minute questions. And if you don't, then you can definitely reach out to Mary, and you can reach out to the PACE support emails. Looks like sorry, I'm just reading a message, and this is information for everyone. Anyone is always welcome to participate in these webinars. We can, you can share this information, this access to these webinars. We are holding them we're holding them in October and November, and then more to come on that. So I'm sorry, October and December, right, Sophia?
November and December?
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, October and December. So we're not doing it in November.
October, December.
Okay, great. So yes, anyone is welcome to join those. We encourage that, in fact. So
Yeah, and I just wanted to add too that I know Lee and other people on PASAG have been providing so many resources to schools and staff and organizations on how you can talk to your communities regarding the pays and what questions might come from families. But if you have any specific ideas or questions about how to reach your community specifically, we'd love to hear more about that. So if you want to send an email to Lee or Elise about specific things that you're hoping to get or specific resources that we can develop for you, feel free to do that. That'll help us in the future to kind of gear to what you need.
excellent. So that is essentially all we have for the day. So you're going to get 15 minutes back in your day. We appreciate Mary, again, as always, for giving us great information and sharing the most up-to-date info. If you, again, just to reiterate, if you have any questions, reach out to Mary, reach out to PACE support email. You can reach out to Elise and I. We are happy to help. Always check out all of the resources that we have available, and don't forget to like us on social media. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a great day.